The top stories tonight in Y News. The Philippines and Qatar signed 9 important agreements to combat human trafficking, ensuring the welfare of seafarers and the facilitation of visa waivers. A Makabayan bloc lawmaker condemns the largest Balikatan exercises between the soldiers of the United States and Philippines, saying it is a rehearsal for war. Vice President Sara Duterte responds to the personal sentiments of First Lady Liza Marcos, emphasizing that the focus of the nation should remain squarely on addressing the pressing issues. And we will discover why the United States military base in Syria was attacked with rockets from Iraq. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 22nd of April, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Bianca Quijano. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, met at Malacanang today. In connection with this, the Philippines and Qatar signed several important agreements to combat human trafficking, ensuring the welfare of seafarers, and the facilitation of visa waivers. Nel Maribohog reports.
The Philippines and Qatar signed 9 agreements today, April 22. The agreement includes the waiver of visa requirements for diplomatic and special passport holders, Memorandum of Understandings or MOUs on cooperation in the fields of sports and youth, MOUs on cooperation in combating human trafficking, addressing climate change, promoting tourism, and conducting business events. Another MOU signed was the Agreement on Mutual Recognition of Seafarers Certificate to implement the provisions stipulated in the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers of 1978. During the bilateral meeting, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. affirmed the enhanced bilateral ties between the Philippines and Qatar as he emphasized that his discussion with Emir Sheikh Tamim will translate to stronger collaboration in common fields of interest.
I look forward to a fruitful and productive meeting with you today, with the hope that our discussion will open opportunities to improve and to strengthen our bilateral relations at every level, at the commercial level, at the government-to-government level, at the people-to-people level.
Meanwhile, the Qatari Emir commends Filipinos' contribution to Qatar's progress.
It is my pleasure to take this opportunity to praise the Filipino community residing in the state of Qatar and their effective contribution to the development progress in our country.
The Philippines and Qatar established their diplomatic relations on May 5, 1981. There are an estimated 242,609 Filipinos in the Middle Eastern country. In 2022, remittances to the Philippines from Qatar amounted to $895.33 million. Nel Mariboho, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, is set to cancel the registration of partylist groups that failed to obtain seats in Congress in the past 2 consecutive elections. Dante Amento tells us why.
Commission on Elections, or COMELEC spokesperson Director Janrex Laudianco disclosed on Monday, April 22, that under Republic Act 7941 or the Party List System Act, they can cancel the registration or accreditation of a sectoral group for failure to participate in the last 2 preceding elections. Also, failure to obtain at least 2% of the votes cast under the party list system in 2 consecutive elections. Thus, the poll body will delist inactive flanking party list groups before the filing of the Certificates of Candidacy or COCs for the 2025 midterm elections.
Maglalabas po ang COMELEC ng resolusyon kung saan yung pong mga sumali at 2 beses pong hindi nanalo at hindi nakapagpaupo sa Kongreso ay maaari pong matanggal na sa listahan.
Laudianco further explained they are stringent in the accreditation of new party lists for the 2025 elections. This is to ensure only those legitimate and with clear representation would be given the chance to participate in the electoral exercises.
Tinitingnan natin dito kung sila ba ay tunay na representante ng sektor na kanilang nais i-represent at higit sa lahat nako-comply ba nila yung requirements po ng Party List Act, pati na rin po yung mga sunod-sunod na desisyon ng Korte Suprema.
In the May 2022 elections, a total of 177 party list organizations participated. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, reports from 2 Iraqi security sources revealed that April 21st, at least 5 rockets were fired from the town in Zumar in Iraq towards a United States military base located in northeastern Syria. This recent assault on U.S. troops marks the first such attack since early February, when Iraqi factions with ties to Iran ceased their hostilities against American forces. The rocket strike occurred just 1 day after Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani's return from a trip to the United States, during which he had a meeting with President Joe Biden at the White House. According to a senior army official and 2 security sources, a rocket launcher mounted on the back of a small truck had been positioned in the border town of Zumar near Syria. The senior military figure explained that the truck erupted in flames due to an explosion caused by unlaunched rockets, coinciding with the presence of aircraft in the skies. However, the official emphasized that any connection between the truck's destruction and U.S. airstrikes would need to be investigated before confirmation. Following the incident, Iraqi security forces were dispatched to the area and initiated a search for the individuals responsible, who reportedly fled in another vehicle, as stated by a security official situated in Zumar. Brazil's ex-president Jair Bolsonaro seeks to raise his political capital by rallying thousands of supporters in Rio de Janeiro. In October 2022, he lost a bid for re-election to leftist Luiz Lula da Silva and is facing charges of getting involved in a coup. Maven Carrizo will tell us why.
After losing a re-election bid in October 2022, former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is seeking to increase his political capital. He called on supporters to gather in Copacabana, where thousands gathered, shown on social media as wearing Brazilian football jerseys. Bolsonaro is facing police investigation for his alleged involvement to undermine Brazil's voting system. Among the accusations he is facing are editing a draft decree to overturn the results of the 2022 election, pressing military chiefs to a joint coup, and planning to jail Supreme Court Justice Alexandra de Moraes. Bolsonaro, who cannot run for office until 2030, denied seeing any draft decree, claiming his government never played outside the 4 lines of Constitution, saying he wants to see the draft if ever it existed. So do the people and the press. He was formally accused by police in March of tampering his vaccination records, which could lead to criminal charges. Meanwhile, during Sunday's demonstrations, the former official urged the crowd to give Elon Musk a round of applause, praising the co-founder and CEO of Tesla and owner of social media X for being a defender of free speech. Musk's lawyers have so far told Brazil's Supreme Court that X will comply with every ruling by the Court of Brazil's top electoral court, despite having earlier claimed he would challenge a decision by Moraes ordering X to block certain accounts. Moraes is investigating digital militias that have been accused of spreading fake news and hate messages during the government of Bolsonaro. May Vin Carrizo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And we will share more global stories with you later. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notifications. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Today marked the official opening of the annual Balikatan Exercise, which will be participated by around 16,000 soldiers from the United States and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Aside from them, the Australian Defence Force and the French Navy will also take part in the exercise. Ryan Lacanlale will tell us why.
The 39th edition of the annual bilateral military exercise between the Armed Forces of the Philippines and United States military personnel officially began today, April 22. In accordance with the Mutual Defense Treaty, the Visiting Forces Agreement signed in 1998.
I officially declare the Philippines-United States Exercise Balikatan 39-2024 open, effective today.
This year's Balikatan exercise focuses on the three aspects: command and control exercise, field training exercise, and humanitarian civic assistance. It is also one of the largest Balikatan exercise, involving 16,000 Filipino and American troops. According to AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr., this year's Balikatan is a testament to the continuing efforts to strengthen cooperation, dedication, and shared goals to enhance interoperability between the two countries' troops.
It is not a partnership of convenience, but rather a clear reflection of our shared history, unwavering commitment to democracy, and respect for international law in our pursuit of peace and security in the Indo-Pacific region.
The Balikatan aims to promote a peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. Hence, countries with similar goals are also included in the training. Aside from the U.S. military and AFP, the training also includes 150 personnel from the Australian Defence Force. For the first time, the French Navy with 100 contingents and the Special Action Force of the Philippine National Police and 6 ships from the Philippine Coast Guard with their Special Operation Force will participate. 14 countries will serve as observers this year. Among the activities is a multilateral maritime exercise, which for the first time will be held outside the territorial waters of the country.
But it's not really addressed to any aggressors. But for the U.S., as we have been speaking, and the Philippine side, it's more of the development of our interoperability, our collective effort, protection of international law, and make sure that the freedom of navigation in these areas goes freely and not impeded by any other parties in the process.
I think, again, exercises here and exercises in other locations operate based on international order and international law, and I think well within your own sovereign rights and responsibilities. We're conducting exercises that are normal.
Due to the proximity of China's structures in the area, the AFP expects the possibility of Chinese ships approaching while conducting exercise in the West Philippine Sea.
But surely, I would say that we would expect some presence of the Chinese side also because they have built their structures in these areas.
Nevertheless, the AFP sees no problem with this training.
We always adhere to international law and the freedom of navigation in these seas. So I think we wouldn't see any problem so long as we follow international law and follow our mutually agreed cooperative mechanisms.
The Philippine Coast Guard will serve as security in the perimeter while conducting the exercise to ensure no disruption occurred during the activity.
This time, we allotted 6 vessels from the Philippine Coast Guard. These are all Japanese-made vessels. Yung dalawang 97 meters tsaka yung 4 na 44-meter vessels na magiging platform and security para dun po sa Balikatan.
Other exercises include Counter-Landing and Maritime Strike Live Fire Exercise or LFX in Ilocos Norte, Island Taking Exercise in Batanes, HIMARS Rapid Infiltration in Palawan, Integrated Air and Missile Defense in Zambales, and among others. Ryan Lacanlale, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Militant groups protest against the PhilippineUSBalikatan exercises. Meanwhile, a Makabayan bloc lawmaker says the joint exercises is a rehearsal for war. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Several militant groups protest outside the Camp Aguinaldo as the Philippines and United States military troops officially open the 2024 Balikatan Exercises. They are opposing the joint military exercises. Makabayan bloc lawmaker Gabriela Women's Partylist Representative Arlene Brosas also condemned the Balikatan Exercises. She stated that the Balikatan serves as a rehearsal for a war. The lawmaker added that the deployment of missiles near the contested waters provoke conflict in the region. The House Assistant Minority Leader also expressed alarm that the Philippines is being used as a pawn in the geopolitical chess game between the United States and China. But according to a geopolitical analyst, joint exercises demonstrate the unity among countries in the region that share common principles and objectives.
That is what we're ensuring. We're diversifying our economic options, strengthening our defense. And I think the clarity, as I've mentioned, is very consistent, that we are merely defending what is rightfully ours based on international law.
National Security Council Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya explained that the aim of Balikatan is not to engage in war, but rather to strengthen the country's capacity.
War is not on the table. War is not one of the instruments of national policy of the Philippines. Just because we have Balikatan doesn't mean we're going to go to war. The only way to preserve peace is to have a strong deterrence capability.
He further asserted that even before the tension in the South China or West Philippine Sea escalated, the Philippines and the United States have already been conducting Balikatan exercises. Apart from thousands of soldiers from the Philippines and the United States, representatives from 14 countries are also present at Balikatan as observers. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In response to recent statements regarding the personal sentiments of First Lady Liza Marcos, Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte has offered a perspective grounded in pragmatism and national interest. Vice President Duterte emphasized that the focus of the nation should remain squarely on addressing the pressing issues that confront the country, rather than becoming entangled in personal disputes. Jed Neresina tells us why.
Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte stated that First Lady Liza Marcos has the right to feel angry, but clarified that personal feelings toward her had nothing to do with her public servant obligations.
Mga kababayan, bilang tao, karapatan ni unang ginang Liza Marcos na makaramdam ng sama ng loob at galit. Subalit, ang kanyang personal na damdamin ay walang kinalaman sa aking mandato bilang isang opisyal ng pamahalaan.
VP Sara added that she would choose to focus on her duties rather than dealing with the First Lady's feelings towards or against her. Duterte further said that she will talk privately with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for next steps necessary. She also emphasized in her statements the various problems that the country has been currently facing.
Patuloy ang pagtaas ng presyo ng pagkain at iba pang mga bilihin. At ito ay mas nagpapahirap pa sa dinaranas na gutom o kawalan ng sapat na pagkain ng mahihirap nating kababayan.
The Vice President also included issues on illegal drugs, insurgency, criminality, and terrorism. VP Sara emphasizes to put the Philippines first than being entangled in personal disputes. Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A total of 19 vehicles were engulfed in flames at the extension parking area of Nino Aquino International Airport Terminal 3 earlier today, April 22nd, prompting authorities to swiftly initiate investigations into the cause of the blaze. As authorities continue their meticulous examination, the ownership of the affected vehicles remains a subject of inquiry. Some vehicles are believed to be owned by airport employees, while others may belong to passengers. However, definitive ownership has yet to be determined. The fire, which erupted at approximately 1:28 p.m., resulted in varying degrees of damage to the vehicles involved. Some suffered extensive melting of tires and shattering of windows, while others incurred only minor harm. At 1:57 p.m., the Manila International Airport Authority Rescue and Firefighting Division declared the fire extinguished. Initial investigations by the PNP Aviation Security Group suggest that the intense heat, coupled with flammable materials inside the vehicles, may have fueled the blaze. MIAA General Manager Eric Ines expressed relief that there were no reported injuries in the incident. He emphasized the full cooperation of MIAA units with the Bureau of Fire Protection to expedite the investigation process. Furthermore, statements from parking attendants and airport security personnel will be crucial in shedding light on the sequence of events leading up to the fire. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, MMDA, has officially announced that the commencement of the much-anticipated rehabilitation of the EDSA Kamuning flyover is slated for May 25th. However, preceding this date, a partial closure of the flyover is set to take effect on May 1st, marking the beginning of a 6-month period of adjustment for motorists and commuters alike. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH explained the reason why EDSA Kamuning flyover needs to undergo rehabilitation.
Kasama yung EDSA Kamuning sa 14 bridges na in-identify ni JICA na critical bridges once na tumama yung the big one. So, si Kamuning, ang scope ni Kamuning is yung redecking kasi deflated na yung mga yung slab niya sa taas, makikita niya may mga cracks na, so pag umulan nagsisip na yung tubig pababa.
With this reason, the flyover will be temporarily closed to motorists starting on May 1. However, the DPWH will start the board up or pre-construction work on April 25. Before May 1, motorists can still pass through the flyover, but when closure starts, only the EDSA carousel will be allowed. Private vehicles, motorcycles, and others will be diverted to Mabuhay lanes or the service road of the flyover.
Ito kasi 6 months so kaya kailangan natin mas paigtingin yung pagmaman ng traffic at i-expand din yung alternate routes, dahil talagang malaki yung magiging epekto nito.
Even if the flyover will be opened after 6 months or by October 25, the rehabilitation will continue for another 6 months. But it will not affect to vehicles. The MMDA and the Quezon City Local Government Unit is already preparing for the traffic rerouting plan. Those traversing EDSA southbound before Kamuning Flyover shall take right to Quezon Avenue, Eugenio Lopez Drive, or Scout Borromeo Street up to Sergeant Esguerra Street until they reach Timog Avenue to go back to EDSA. MMDA will also conduct intensified clearing operations in the area to ensure mabuhay lanes will be passable to avoid traffic jam. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And in other global news, after a prolonged wait, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a $95 billion aid package on Saturday for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Of this amount, $60.84 billion is allocated for replenishing Israel's arms, stocks, and facilities, while $26.38 billion is designated for Israel and $8.12 billion for Taiwan.
Three of our primary adversaries, Russia and Iran and China, are working together, and they're being aggressors around the globe. And they're a global threat to our prosperity and our security. Their advance threatens the free world, and it demands American leadership. If we turn our backs right now, the consequences could be devastating.
Leaders of the recipient nations expressed profound gratitude for the financial assistance, which they intend to utilize in defending against adversaries. The U.S. Senate is expected to pass the aid package on Tuesday, April 23rd, swiftly sending it to President Joe Biden's desk for signing.
I've done here what I believe to be the right thing, and that is to allow the House to work its will. And as I've said, you do the right thing and you let the chips fall where they may. So I will continue to do that.
An Indonesia court delivered today its verdict on one of the two petitions to disqualify the country's president-elect and change eligibility rules for running in the election. May Viandog will tell us why.
Indonesia's Constitutional Court has rejected the petition by losing candidate Anies Baswedan, who argued that President-elect Prabowo Subianto allegedly distributed social aid for political purposes and received unfair advantage through the support of the outgoing leader. Anies, along with the former governor and losing candidate Ganjar Pranowo, also argued that President Joko Widodo's son, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, should not have been allowed to run as Prabowo's vice president and should be disqualified. A decision by the Constitutional Court in October, which at the time was headed by Joko's brother-in-law, changed the minimum age of candidates, which allowed Gibran to join as Prabowo's vice president running mate. Prabowo and the outgoing administration have denied all allegations of political interference, which Joko had been heavily criticized for in the run-up to the election. Judge Arif Hidayat has argued that the president and state agencies lack neutrality, casting one of the dissenting votes. According to Anies and Ganjar, tacit support from Jokowi had granted an unfair advantage to Prabowo. Jokowi has faced intense scrutiny from critics in the poll run-up, alleging he abused his political power to favor Prabowo to preserve his legacy. May Viandog, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems, may help us through this horrible predicament. There is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word, giving glory to God. From the book of John, chapter 14, verse 6, it says, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. And those are the reasons behind the news, April 22nd, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Bianca Quijano, live from Edmonton, Canada. We serve the people, we give glory to God.